Hello, people of the internet. My name is Matt, and this is the Mildly Ignorant Podcast. And if you're wondering why that sounded different, it's because I'm missing my other half today. My partner in crime, I guess. My brother in mayhem. Isaiah is unfortunately not able to be with us this episode, but he'll be back in the next one. Until then, you've got episode 31 with me. And today, I brought in a special friend of mine. It's Show and Tell, and I'm here in the classroom alone. Let's everybody in the studio give a big warm round of applause to my buddy Mason.
Hi everybody!
Hey.
Hi!
This is where we would put in like a applause track if we had one.
Like a talk show over on I don't know, Jimmy Kimmel Live or something.
I'm the Wendy Williams of podcasts.
Oh yeah, the Wendy.
So, Mason, you are a friend of mine and actual listener of the pod.
Oh, avid listener of the podcast.
So this goes out to anybody who actually listens to us. Send us a message. Maybe we'll have you on as a guest. I'm sure Isaiah hates that idea, but he's not home right now, so it's up to me. But yeah, so you're a avid listener of the podcast and you're an okay friend of mine, I guess. No, we're pretty good friends.
Yeah, we're pretty good friends. We've met once in person before. We've known each other for how long has it been? Since 2017?
Like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. I would say longer than that.
Isn't it weird how, like, our generation is kind of the first to have these friends where, like, you've only met once and then you continue to talk to the person for, like, the rest of your life on the internet?
I honestly think
do you have any other?
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
I would say most of my friends are like that now. Like, one of my best friends, Eli, and we grew up together. I've known him since first grade. We only talk like every so often. He lives all the way in Hamilton, so like we never get to see each other, but we don't talk super often. But when we do get together, like it's fine. Like it's like we have never even left, right? So
yeah. Okay, I do want to come back to the subject, but we've got to put you through our ritual. Every newbie we have on the pod, we got to ask them, okay, in order for, the audience to get a good taste of you, they like put you in their mouth and supple on that for a bit.
Yeah.
We have to know what the worst day of your life was.
Now, that's a difficult. Sorry, I bumped my mic. Now that's a kind of tricky question. I've actually been thinking about it for the past day because.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think,
okay.
Like, how do I
here at the Mildly Ignorant Podcast, we're always on top of... What are you talking about? You've only been thinking about it for 3 days. You knew you were going to be on the podcast a good year and a half in advance. We're always prepared with topics and subjects to talk about.
No, I've been trying to think, like, how do I come up with the worst day of my life that's, like, not digging up some deep-rooted, like... repressed childhood trauma, right? So
yeah.
But I did come down to, I wouldn't say it's the worst day of my life, but it's definitely
if you're gonna embellish it and it's like it's the glittery, like if there's 2 pieces of poo and one of them is like shiny gold and you have to pick one, you're gonna pick the shiny piece of poo.
Oh no, this isn't shiny. Like, this is actually the first thing that came to mind because I guess like recency bias,
Sure.
It happened this past summer. So me and a bunch of my friends, they do it more often than I do. Because of work and stuff, I haven't been able to really join. But there's usually like 15 or more of us, all old friends from high school. We get together, we all book like 3 or 4 camping sites at a campground. Yeah, and we book them all together. So we're all next to each other, and we just have like a good 3-4 days of camping, drinking, having fun.
Sorry to interrupt your story. What's it like being a bro?
See, that's the thing. See, I don't consider myself like a bro. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. I'm just teasing.
yeah, I
We can
know.
talk about that after. Keep going. Keep
We can
going.
talk about that after. Yeah, we'll get into that. But yeah, so these weekends are usually full of like, you're drinking, you're having fun. There might be a little marijuana involved,
Little
a
buffoonery.
little
Little.
buffoonery. So I'm a very recent enjoyer of the devil's lettuce, I guess you could say. Uh,
Okay. Okay. So now you're speaking my language.
I don't smoke. I don't smoke or vape. I don't like the idea of smoking
Yeah.
something like in my lungs. I have very good lungs. I have a very good cardiovascular system, or whatever the
Were
hell
you a
you.
swimmer? Did you ever go do swimming?
I never did swimming, but I
Okay.
cycle a
Sorry.
lot in the summertime. So
Okay. Yeah. I knew you'd do one of those like
mm,
fitness sports because you have a swimmer's body.
yeah, I don't mean to brag, but I think I'm in pretty good physical health. So I try to
I
stay
mean,
away from the smoking.
yeah.
But what I do partake in, and I very much enjoy, is the edibles. I'm really happy that you can get the edibles. I get them in town a couple times a month. Like, but even then, I still don't take them
You take it
super often.
easy.
I take it easy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I maybe once a month I'll indulge. So it's been about a year at this point since I've started it, right?
Yeah.
And we go to this camping thing that we're doing, and I can't remember. I think it was the first evening. I go up to my friend Eli, the friend I just mentioned, and we're just sitting around, and it's like 6 p.m. And he was talking about his uncle or someone brought like a bag of like gave him like edibles. I guess he like works in the
Yeah.
industry or something. And I was like, cool. Do you mind if I take one? And he's like, yeah, sure. Go ahead and take one. So I was like, cool. I took the bag, and I'm looking at this edible, and Matt, this thing was like maybe the size of a Tic Tac. I don't even think it was the size of a
Yeah.
Tic Tac. It was
My
like,
first thought instantly was like, "Oh God, you're eating like unfamiliar edibles, and your friend is just leaving you to it."
no, it's not that. It was very
Oh.
controlled. It's
Okay.
fine, but we're getting to this.
Oh
don't,
no,
don't worry.
I'm
Um,
concerned.
where was
I'm
I?
on the
Yeah,
edge of my
so this
seat.
thing is like maybe half the size of a Tic Tac, I'd even say. And he's like, oh yeah, so like you could like even cut it in half or something if you want and like stick it back in the bag. And I was like, oh no, I've taken like animals that are like 10 times this size. I'll be fine. Don't worry about it. He's like, okay. So I took the edible, and I shit you not, I completely forgot I took this thing. And I'm sitting there, I'm drinking beer, I'm drinking what have you, sitting around the fire. And maybe an hour and a half later, and I'm starting to feel it. I'm like, oh yeah, I think I took an edible earlier. I was pretty drunk.
Mhm.
And it was starting to kick in. I was having fun. And then, like, this is the hard part to tell because I don't remember much of what happened after this.
Oh no.
So we're all sitting around the fire, and I am conscious that like, oh, I'm getting high right now, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to not act
Now,
like
okay,
a buffoon.
yeah, is it just your mentality being like, "Oh my God, I am so high right now," or do you actually like feel this thing taking effect?
What do you mean?
Because like I find, especially with edibles, like you can take one and it, like wait, I don't know, like 20 whatever minutes that you're supposed to for it to like kick in, and then you can like think yourself into being high a little bit, and then it like kicks in, or like the edible just kind of washes over you, and you're like, I have entered like
I know what you mean.
the dark zone.
I'd say a little bit of both, but in this
Okay.
situation, because I had forgot I'd taken it, it was just like, oh, I am becoming high. But I just remember my friend Josh, and we're all sitting around the fire. My friend Josh is like, why don't we all go down by the water? Like it'll be fun. And I'm sitting there
Oh
next to
boy.
Sam, and I'm like, yeah, let's go in the water. And Sam's like, you sure? And I was like, yeah, let's go have fun. And like a slideshow, like it's like I blinked, and I was at my campsite 2 sites over holding my towel. And I'm just standing there looking at it, and Sam, my partner, sorry, Sam's my
Yeah.
partner, and she's looking at me like, hey, like, oh, sorry, I got it backwards. See, this is how fucked up I was at the time. I
Oh
said I
no.
didn't want to go swimming, and Sam said it would be fun to go swimming. Sorry. And I'm standing there holding my towel in our campsite after blinking and teleporting there. And she's like, why, I thought you didn't want to go. Like, I thought you didn't want to go swimming. And I was like, oh, yeah, no, it's fine. Let's go swimming. And I was like, no, well, we'll do it. So we had to cross this big field, essentially, and walk through the woods to get to where we had to go.
Yeah.
And walking across this big empty field at pitch black at night is when it was like that moment where you're like, like your mind separates from your body, and I was like, oh no, I don't like this. And we get into the woods, and like the woods disappear, and I see like Sam in front of me, and it's like she's like glowing. I don't know how to like describe what was happening. And I grab her by the hand, and I'm like, Sam, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to go back to I want to go back to my tent. She's like, oh no, come on, it'll be fun, it'll be fun. And I was like, Sam, we need to go back to the tent now, or I'm gonna have a fucking panic attack. She's like, okay, we'll go back to the tent, we'll go back to the tent. So we turn around, and we're in this big fucking field again, and I'm like, I'm not gonna make it. And like, for context, this field is like 20 meters from our tent, by the way. It's not that far.
Yeah.
And over the horizon, like, I see like the bathhouse, which is on the edge of the field, and it just is like glowing like the fucking Star of Bethlehem, like some giant skyscraper light beam. And I'm like, oh my god, what is happening? So we finally get back to the tent, and I'm like, have you seen the film like Midsommar?
I have not.
There's a scene in Midsommar where the main characters all take this like tea, or they take mushrooms, and then the world starts like warping, and she starts seeing like faces in the trees and shit. I started seeing like faces in the trees and shit, and I was like not okay with what was happening.
Yeah.
And all this going through my mind is like, I just took an edible. Like, what the hell is going on? And we get back to the tent, and we lay down, and Sam's like trying to comfort me, but the air mattress is really deflated and it's really uncomfortable. And I'm like, high stress. We're at like 110% right now.
Oh no.
And she's like, Mason, and we gotta blow up the air mattress or we won't be able to fall asleep. And I was like, don't touch the air mattress. You can't blow up the air mattress. And like, don't ask me now why I was saying this. It's like irrational. Like, when you're high on weed and you get anxious about something, you start legitimizing the thing you're anxious about. And it's really fucking weird. I was like, you cannot do this. You cannot blow up this air mattress. And she's like, okay. And then she's understanding what's happening now, I guess, and she's being very soothing. And she's like, okay, like, just lean into it. Like, this kind of thing can happen. You're just having a bad trip right now. Just lean back, relax, think good thoughts. And the act of her doing that, like, you know how I just mentioned the anxiety part of weed?
Yeah.
The act of her doing that made me think, hold on a second. In my mind, something really bad is happening and I'm freaking out. And she doesn't seem concerned about the fact that I'm freaking out. Like, because at the moment I didn't understand, like, she's just trying to be helpful. And I was thinking, like, oh my God.
She doesn't get it.
Like, I was like, oh my God, something is not right. Like, what the hell is happening? And I was sitting up in the bed and I'm like, Sam, I'm way too high right now. I think I've been drugged. She's like, you haven't been drugged, Mason. You're fine. And like, I'm super high and I'm like believing for some reason that I had been drugged for like no reason at all. I was like, this doesn't make sense. And I'm sorry, you were gonna say something?
I was just gonna say, what the hell did you take? Like, you're high strung and fucking...
Yeah, it was nuts. And I'm sitting there with my eyes open because like every time I close my eyes, it feels like I'm falling into like a black hole, right? And I close my eyes and I'm seeing like geometric patterns and shit. And I open my eyes and I'm starting to see faces in the wrinkles of the tent. And I'm like, I am not okay. And then I really had to pee, but I was too afraid to pee to get up out of the tent. And I was like, Sam, I really have to piss. The mattress is really deflated and I'm laying on the ground. I'm really uncomfortable. Every time I hear the wind blow, I think God is talking to me. So it was a very unpleasant experience. And what felt like 4 hours had passed, which in reality was probably like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I have to get up and take a piss. So I did. I got up and took a piss, and it was the most terrifying piss I've ever taken in my life.
Well, it's a good thing you were pissing, so you didn't piss yourself.
Yeah. And I start walking back to the tent. I was just peeing on the tree behind the tent. And I hear Sam blowing up the air mattress. And I was like, no, she can't do that. So I came back to the tent. I was like, Sam, you cannot blow up the air mattress right now. And she's like, okay. I felt really bad. And then the most of it is just a repeat of that, me being extremely uncomfortable until the high started going away to the point where we were able to blow up the air mattress. I was able to fall asleep. And then I woke up the next morning and Sam's like, how are you feeling? And I was like, I feel like shit.
Yeah.
And I leave the tent and I'm making breakfast, and Eli was in the same campsite as me. He comes out. And I was like, man, like, you gave me an edible last night, and it like that edible you gave me yesterday was like nuts. And I was like, what was in it? And he's like, oh, that was like 25 milligrams. And I was like, oh, okay. And the most I've had at that point was like all at one time, like maybe 5 milligrams. So I had taken like 5 times the amount of THC concentrated that I'm used to, and on an empty stomach full of alcohol, and it completely fucked me up, and I couldn't rationalize it because I was too high to rationalize it, and it was the most uncomfortable night of my life, and that was the first night of the camping trip.
Yeah.
But
well, I'm sorry that happened. But that was a really entertaining story. Thanks.
It was something, and you know what? Going back, I would do it again. No, hear me out.
Okay.
I would do it again under a far more controlled situation, knowing how much I am taking. Like, that was totally me. He warned me. He was like, that's really strong. You should cut it in half or in a quarter at least. And I was like, no.
Even then, like, this Tic Tac, half a Tic Tac would have still been like what? Almost twice, 3 times the amount that you take?
Yeah, it would have been like 10 mil. Like, I've taken 10 milligrams at a time since then.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah, you're like, I can't feel this anymore. I need to go higher.
Yeah.
You sound like an addict. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it certainly changed the way I view drugs in a way, because like,
yeah,
it was a very unpleasant yet really like weird experience. And I went on my computer and I was like, I went and I Googled, I was like, can you hallucinate from weed? Because like, I tell people this story and they're like, dude, you might have taken like a mushroom edible. And I was like, no, I looked at the package and it was like a store-bought. It was just THC.
Yeah.
And
I mean, yeah, that's what I thought. Like, when you first said that, I was like, oh, it's got to be laced with something, or like it's got to be not just weed.
And that's why I was freaking out at night, because excuse me, I was like,
you even convinced yourself it was something else?
Yeah, I convinced myself like that I had been drugged with something, because like I've seen artistic interpretations of what it looks like when you're on mushrooms, and it's almost as if like the world is like rippling around you, right? And that's exactly what was happening. And I was like seeing like faces in everything. It was really screwed up, and I feel like I myself have a very vivid imagination as it is. Like, I'm one of those people where you close your eyes, I could tell you exactly what the apple looks like and turn it around and shit, you know? So I think that might have even accelerated it, but it was a wild experience. And even like when I closed my eyes, I was seeing like geometric shapes and shit. And yeah.
See, I'm lucky. I've never had a bad trip. The worst trip I did have was like one of the first times I started smoking. I was with Liz, who was on the pod. Actually, no. I think I was at a party with her ex because we used to work together. Anyway, I get to the party. This is literally like 5 minutes into the party. Like, it's a house party. It's like by Algonquin. Everybody's just like out on the yard smoking, right? I get there. I like say hi to a couple people. This one guy's like, hey, do you want to take a hit of this Incredible? I'm like, what the fuck is an Incredible? And
that just sounds sketchy in general, man.
Yeah, well, like, have you ever seen those tubes that you like you put money in them and then you like put them in like a chute.
Are you talking about like coin rolls?
No, like it's like a capsule, and you put. I mean, I don't think you'd put coin rolls in it because you normally just hold those, but like it's for bills, and it like goes into this machine. My old work used to have it. Basically, it's like when the caches got too full, you just like put money in this tube and it would shoot up. Anyway,
Okay.
this Incredible looked like exactly like one of those things. It was just like a plastic tube, and like part of it came out, and like I don't know, you breathe in it and then you die is what happens. Because I took the hit. I remember standing there with this thing in my hand, taking it, and then I remember like everything goes black for a split second, and I remember sitting up, and I'm like in the garden of this house party, like, and then everybody's like, "Oh my god, are you okay? You just fell." And I was like, "What? Like, what do you mean? I'm perfectly fine." Like I was a little bit like, "What the hell am I doing on the grass?" Because like I was just standing a second ago, and everyone's like, "Yeah, you almost hit your head, but like, woo, you're fine." And I was fine. I go into the house, and then like 2-3 seconds later, I just like I don't remember the rest of the night.
Damn.
I was like fucked for the rest of the night. But like it still not a bad trip. The only bad part about it was like the initial hit, and then sitting up and being like, I don't know where I am. But then yeah, I was perfectly fine, and then 2 minutes later I was like, I'm not gonna remember the rest of this night.
What exactly is an Incredible? I'm curious. Like,
I don't know, like
like vapored antifreeze or something.
no, it was weed.
Oh.
I think.
Incredibles sounds like something you would see in like, I don't know, like a 90s sitcom, like the episode where the child gets introduced to weed and they're like, you can't do weed, it's bad because it's the 90s, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it looks like almost like an inhaler, like an asthma inhaler. And you just like take a quick hit of it, and then it like goes through this little tube and like fucks you up. But yeah, I've never had a bad trip. Every trip I have with weed, I'm just super mellow. But like I would hate that. Because I always imagine, I'm like, what would a bad trip with weed even like feel like? Because weed is just so chill, like you just relax and like, haha, like everything is silly and funny and cool.
Yeah.
But then, like as you were saying, like you were like seeing things even when you closed your eyes, like just kind of losing control of, I don't want to say your consciousness, but like losing control of, just like your thoughts.
Yeah, it's like ego
forcibly
death,
saying things.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that would be, I can see why now. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, I would never want that to happen.
Yeah, and like I said, I looked it up and I couldn't find any like stories of people who had a similar experience. So I mean, guess
isn't weed classified as like a hallucinogenic?
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I think it's classified as a narcotic, but I think narcotic just means that it makes you sleepy instead of making you energetic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was wild, and like I said, it changed the way I view drugs. Like not in a positive or negative way, but I don't.
In a real way.
I don't want it to sound like a hippie. Like I'm not going off on my weekends and like taking shrooms and stuff. Like as far as I see myself, I'll probably only ever stick to weed. But like it changed the way I view it. Like the next time I took it, I took 10, I think it was 10 milligrams of an edible. Like I took 2 gummies or whatever the hell. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go lay in bed. And I just was home alone. I laid in bed. I put on my nice like Sony noise canceling headphones and put on this playlist of like very relaxing, like I want to say like spa music. It was just like the first relaxing playlist I could find. And I just mellowed out.
It's just like it's like the sounds of the ocean. It's just white noise. You put on a white noise machine.
Yeah, and in doing that, I like with my eyes closed, I discovered that like I have very vivid synesthesia when I'm on THC.
Oh,
like,
really?
Yeah, like I had my eyes closed and these songs were playing, and I remember in my mind thinking like, I am not consciously trying to make these colors and patterns appear, but they are happening alongside the music, and this is really cool. So yeah, I discovered that, and that's probably thanks to the worst day I've had in my life, I suppose.
Yeah, in an inadvertent way, I guess so.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I could sit here and talk about myself forever, but I would get yelled at if I did that.
Oh.
Something big in the news, apart from, it's been like, what, 2 weeks now since the Oscars?
Has it
I
been
don't know,
that
like
long already now?
shenanigans.
Jeez.
I think so, because like there's just nothing to talk about. The Grammys happened, and a lot of comedians made fun of it, talking about like the smack and like whatever.
Yeah. The old
Stupid.
smack.
The smack that was heard across worlds. The
Yeah.
last episode of the Mod Leaguer podcast. On Tuesday, April 5th. Yes, on Tuesday, April 5th, Twitter announced that Elon Musk, the CEO of SpaceX and Tesla, would be joining its board of directors. So basically, Elon Musk went on to buy 9% of Twitter stock, making him the, what do you call it? I guess the lead shareholder?
Yeah, he is.
Top shareholder, I think is the term.
Yeah, he'd be the top shareholder, I suppose. I mean, what is 10% of Twitter? What is Twitter worth?
Okay. How much question did Elon buy into Twitter? How Google, give me the answer.
The thing is, I hear you say that, and the first thing that
Sorry.
came to mind was he's doing this because he's tired of being bullied on Twitter.
Oh yeah,
Grimes has found
left him.
a new partner. He's having a mental breakdown. People are making fun of him for it. He's like, okay, I'll just buy the the company and I'll do what I can so you guys can't make fun of me anymore.
Yeah, that's exactly like that was my first thought too. I was like, okay, great, here comes censorship in new forms where like you can't say billionaires are bad or whatever.
Oh, you
like
wouldn't? Yeah.
it's just coming.
Yeah.
But like Twitter came out with this statement and they were like, oh yeah, we're so happy to have him, and like he's got some really good ideas coming, including stuff on preventing misinformation and like especially when it comes to COVID and stuff like this. Meanwhile, like looking at Elon Musk's history, he spread misinformation on Twitter about COVID-19
Yeah, he did.
and like a bunch of other things. Like he's just an irresponsible idiot, and he's proven that time and time again. And it's like, great, Twitter. Like this isn't a good thing for Twitter.
No, it's not. And I don't know, like I guess this is kind of shifting the subject about him, but people say that he's such an intelligent man, and I'm not doubting that he's an intelligent person, but I don't think he's a smart person. I think there's a big distinction between him being an intelligent person and him being a smart person. And I think he's ridiculously stupid. I think he's a dumb man who just tries to appeal to the masses to make as much money as possible. And
he's kind of the American dream.
Yeah.
Because like you're saying this in a negative light, but like they eat that shit up. Yeah. They love him.
I mean, when we were having what would they call them? The Freedom Convoy in Ottawa, he posted a picture of Justin Trudeau compared to Hitler.
Like, I'm not even surprised.
Yeah, he ended up deleting it, I guess, but
it's
something he did. He probably doesn't even think that, but he's like, okay, 90% of my audience is people who eat this shit up, so I need to make
No, I don't. See, on second thought, I don't give him that benefit of the doubt that he's even that smart to be like I'm gonna think about what they think about. Like, no, I think he fully heard. He was like, oh my god, these Freedom Convoy people, they just like want to live maskless, like they want to be free. I totally get that, even though like taking it completely out of context is like, if you were to meet somebody who, I don't know, like I was gonna say it was like trapped in let's go Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, like somebody who was like kidnapped and locked in a cellar for like the last 5 years, right? And then like if you were to tell them and be like, hey, there's this freedom convoy and like they don't want people to wear masks anymore and like they want to remove all these mandates so people can just go back and live their lives. You're like, this person can think, oh my God, like of course I'm on board with this freedom idea. But then like taking 2 seconds of introspection and realizing that like he's an American, this has nothing to do with him. How could he possibly know like that they are downtown Ottawa, like fucking promoting their like pollution and bullshit, and like neo-Nazis are showing up. And then as an American, he's just like, oh, free speech is essential to a functioning democracy. So he like goes and it's like anybody threatening free speech is blah 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 blah, because like Americans are just like that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. That makes perfect sense, honestly.
Because that's the number one thing you see, and it's always the Republicans being told to shut the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also like the Democrats too. Like everybody has a right to free speech, and it's like you don't even know what that means.
Yeah,
like,
free speech is totally different than freedom of action. And
exactly.
Freedom for like that's sound like a broken record. Freedom of consequences.
Exactly. Yeah. No. I don't know. He bought like he can do that.
He certainly can.
I know Isaiah showed me a meme and it was like anime girl with pink hair was upset because like she's like free speech, and then Elon Musk just kind of buys into Twitter, and then like now the anime pink-haired girls are upset. But it's like, yeah, he can do that. We do live in a capitalist society.
Oh man.
I mean, we should be kind of fucking terrified that he can just do that and do what he wants and probably come in and censor people. But America, free speech.
And the absolute lengths people will go to defend this man too. Like I've seen, like you were talking about on the podcast the other day, like what's your toxic trait? My toxic trait is never getting the fuck off of Twitter and constantly doom scrolling. And,
so you're like the worst of all of us.
Yeah, pretty much. I was on Twitter and I came across this thread where somebody was defending him by saying like, Twitter is like a legitimate, like Twitter is such a big news source, and like him buying it is like extremely important to, you know, legitimizing it as a news source, something along those lines. And the comment like immediately after it was just like, dude, the fact that you are viewing Twitter, the website,
as like as your news,
as like the news, speaks volumes, man. Like, chill out.
Yeah.
I saw another one actually that made me laugh pretty hard, where somebody, what did they compare? What did they say? Somebody was criticizing Elon Musk for being racist or something. Like, I don't know the context, so like,
yeah,
whatever. But somebody.
Oh, I know what you're gonna say.
He was like, "You are accusing an African American immigrant of being racist."
I said this to Isaiah earlier. Yeah.
Oh God, man.
It's okay. I didn't see the original post, but somebody responding to a post saying, "White people telling an African American immigrant he's racist. Typical."
Yeah.
And then somebody replied to them saying, "Wait, I'm sorry. Are you calling Elon Musk an African American immigrant?" And then the first person responds and says, "That's literally what he is."
Yeah, that's
and
the
it's like,
thread I found.
like literally, yeah, that's what he is. But like, does he fit into that?
Yeah, it's not the
Definitely
fact that he's
not.
from Africa. It's the fact that he's white. Like, it's not where you're from.
Yeah,
It's
like
it.
this is just going above your head, sweetie. Like,
This is like, you know what this reminds me of? And I think I sent you a Snapchat of it because it fucking killed me. I was watching Bend It Like Beckham with Sam. And if you remember the Snapchat I sent you, you're going to know what I'm going to say. But there's a scene where the main character, who is Indian, gets kicked, like she gets red flagged or something in a soccer game and kicked off the field. A other player who is white calls her a slur, starts with a P, I'm not going to say it. And the other main character, who is the love interest, heartthrob Irish guy, is like comforting her, and she's like, "You wouldn't understand, like they that person called me a P word. Like, you don't understand what it's like to face this kind of discrimination. And he's like, of course you do. Of course I do. I'm Irish. And I was like, wait a second. Fucking wait. Like, let's back up a second. You understand this person's hardships for being called a racial slur because you're Irish. And I immediately went to, okay, maybe he's referring to, like, I don't know, the potato famine, but then the potato famine was in the 1800s and it had nothing to do with race. It's like, yeah.
Okay. So you, okay. So, yeah, the Irish were like, I don't want to say hunted, but they were like treated super shitty by the British to the point where like Ireland doesn't want to be a part of anything that's going on there.
Yeah.
There's like reparations and everything. So yeah, the British did treat them like shit, but that's like white on white European like racism that like doesn't. Yeah.
Like
it is. Yeah.
I kind of got where the writer or the director was going with that line, but it was so tone deaf and caught me so off guard, and I still think about it to this day. Racism sucks. That's all.
I was literally just about to say that. Yeah. So, okay. I guess we'll go back into the topic.
Yeah, sorry. I got
how does it feel to be a bro? I'm just kidding.
How does it feel to be a bro? You feel loved. You feel comforted.
Okay, no. Okay, this is boring. I want to talk about your Titter. Wow, your Twitter doom scrolling. Yeah. Because when it comes to social media, like I am extremely limited, except when it comes to Tumblr. But you would know that, knowing me. When it comes to all other forms of social media and even the news in general, I get overwhelmed easily because I get very emotional. But I know that like I have to just turn it off. Yeah. I have to log out. I have to turn away. Like when I see stupid shit on Twitter, that's why I don't go on Reddit except for like the occasional time. I just like leave me on Tumblr with the crazy people like in the mental asylum.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to know what's going on in the real world. I want to know what these ducks are about. Like I want to see these pictures of frogs. I want mushrooms. Like I want that gay shit. Give me Tumblr.
Yeah, and Tumblr is great for that, honestly. And where am I going with this? I feel like people who are our age, who, you know, kind of started using Tumblr when it came out. Like, I don't know when you started, but... Oh, excuse me. Pardon me.
2011.
I think it was... Yeah, I don't know. I was early high school when I started using it. Maybe even late elementary school. And it hasn't really changed at all. Like, it is...
No.
Just this hell site full of stupid idiots.
I mean, yes, but also, like, people say this all the time, especially about Tumblr. And, like, I do want to keep talking about this, but the closest thing I've seen come, like, even remotely close is TikTok, but that's in a different way. We'll get there. But Tumblr is completely catered to your own experiences. Like, obviously, every now and then you'll see, like, somebody reblog one of the famous text posts that has, like, hundreds of thousands of notes, and, like, everybody knows them all. But, like, if you just want to follow your little shit, like...
Yeah.
Tumblr is for those girlies in class who just want to watch their shows and, like, they just want to watch some Super Hulock. And they want to play their little games, and everyone's just gonna be gay. And it's gonna be a party.
Draw their little pictures.
Yeah, write their hell yeah. And it's like Tumblr is the high school lunch table.
Yeah,
because you can like look and you can see all these people. Like you got your jocks and your bros, and like I guess fitness Tumblr. It's very small, but it's a thing. And then you got, like I said, your show girlies, your movie girlies, your aesthetic bitches, like your photographers, your artists, like you. And then you have the class clowns.
Yeah.
They're my favorite. They're just like the super. They're the okay. The closest thing to like a Tumblr influencer are like those class clowns where like they don't hold merit anywhere but the lunch table. Like they're not a good student. They're not particularly well versed or interested in anything, but they're just like a riot.
Yeah, and there's those profiles like
I'm talking about like Booty Diaries or like Men's Rights Activia.
There's that one that's like a Pikachu. I can't remember what it's called.
Oh yeah.
That person could be a total loser
Pukio?
in real life, and they probably are. But on Twitter,
they probably
or on
definitely
Tumblr, they're famous.
And that's another reason why Tumblr is the best, is because like it's completely anonymous.
100%.
Like Instagram and TikTok, because like visual mediums, if you're hot, you're gonna get more followers. Like that's 100% true. But like on Tumblr, nobody knows who you are. You can be ugly and be funny and like get super popular, and nobody even knows what you look like.
Yeah.
A common opener even amongst like mutual followers is just like, hey bestie, like what's your name? Like, hey, like.
Now I want to kind of go back to something you said, and I think this is something that I mean, I think I've seen you complain about this specifically before, so you'll I feel like you'll agree.
Are you calling me out?
Yeah, I'm calling you. No, I feel like this is something that we mutually have an agreement on. It's where you said that Tumblr it's so good that you can like have your secluded little space. You could follow whatever you want.
Yeah.
And you kind of compared it to TikTok, and that TikTok falls under the same thing in a bad way.
Yeah.
Is that people tend to put themselves in these echo chambers where somebody...
Oh, so true.
Yeah, where somebody will say something in a post, and then it makes its way into somebody's echo chamber through, somebody's reblogged it and it makes their way there. And then they're like, have you not thought about how what you said personally affects me? You making that joke about having dogs is not good because I used to have a dog, and I find it very upsetting when I see posts about dogs. Like, this is a very vague, like, mild example, but...
Yeah.
And I feel like... I mean, I don't use TikTok a lot, but what I've seen from TikTok is the exact same way. Like, people can't handle...
Like, dogpile people and, like... Is it, like, what? Things that are too taboo?
I don't know. It's
because like if you think about it, the same shit happens on Twitter. Twitter is extremely bad for people like dogpiling, and I don't want to say like being PC, but being like super sensitive.
Oh, Twitter is the worst.
Exactly.
I saw somebody, I can't remember what the specific post was, but it's still in my mind, where somebody said something about, I think it had to do with language. Somebody was saying something about speaking another language. And one of the first replies, I clicked on it, and the person was like, oh, so you're saying that people from this language aren't allowed to participate in this activity? And people were just like, what are you fucking talking about?
Yeah.
Like,
completely drawing arguments have nothing to do with like the original point of the conversation.
Go outside and roll around in the dirt. Like, breathe oxygen.
See, the difference between Twitter and Tumblr in that regard is like when that happens on Twitter, it just like only snowballs, and it only just keeps going on and like getting bigger, and more people get invested. More people are yelling at each other, and then like everything is just taken to the extreme. Someone's called a Nazi.
That's exactly what happened.
Always
with the
happens.
Slap, where it should have just been a funny rich person slapped another rich person, and now I don't even want to hear about it again.
But then on Tumblr, it starts building up. These two people are clowning at each other, and then one just goes, "Your mom gay," and then everyone laughs and it's over with.
Yeah.
And it's like, because Tumblr is the lunchroom of, I don't know, the internet.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, honestly. It's when you're sitting with your friends and you look over and you see all like the horse girls playing around with like the furries and stuff. I'm sorry for any horse girl furries.
Gotta love the furries.
But you know what I mean.
I don't know. Like, my Tumblr experience is just video games. Like, it's just like mostly Zelda aesthetic pictures of Halloween because I'm a gay and it's my personality.
Sorry, say that again. You cut out a bit. Your Tumblr is just full of Zelda and gay and video games. Is that what you said?
I mean, I didn't say gay, but yeah. No,
I mean, I follow you on Tumblr, so I know exactly what it is.
Listen. No, but like, yeah, it's just my gay shit, my video games, and that's it. Like, it's what I want to see. I'll see the occasional, like, this person should be in a mental asylum take, and then I'll just see like 100 SpongeBob memes.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. It is what it is.
For me, my Tumblr, I don't use the app on my phone because Tumblr became like this sort of addiction to me. So I was like, I purge it. I need to do that with Twitter next.
Yeah.
But I use it strictly on my desktop. I've had it since it came out. I have like 4 followers that are real. The rest are bots. The others,
oh yeah,
I think 2 of the 4 followers don't exist. It's literally just you and my friend Carmen.
Yeah.
And my sole reason to exist on Tumblr is to interact with yours and Carmen's posts. I just kind of feel like I'm there. I read what I read blog.
Yeah. I have been on Tumblr a long time. I have seen people come and go. I'm sitting at like almost 1,000 followers, but like I want to say I actually go in and delete every bot that follows me, which is why I haven't hit over 1,000. But I want to say that like probably 85% of those people are just not active on Tumblr anymore. Like, yeah. I know Liz used to be on Tumblr all the time, but she is no longer. But she still follows me, right? So it's just part of the purge that left with the porn ban. Right. All right, so let's move into our question from the viewers. I'm just looking at. We've got quite a list.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'll ask you this one.
Okay.
In the Batman movie, smash or pass the Riddler?
I don't even know why that's a fucking question. Obviously smash. Like, it's a no-brainer.
Now, I'm not talking about Paul Dano. I'm talking about, like, the Riddler himself. I'm talking Edward Nashton here.
No, that guy is straight up school shooter. Like, I wouldn't even call him, like, a Redditor.
Like, isn't that kind of hot?
Like, I don't know, man. He's definitely a pass for me, man. He's too scary. I feel like he would start crying halfway through and then feel bad and he'd start like trauma dumping on me and I'd be like, all right, man, I didn't sign up for this.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. He's like, what? I'm actually getting laid? Let me tell you about all my problems. But here's the thing. I just forgot the thing. Oh, yeah. Okay. Here's the little gay bitch Tumblrite in me, the little fan fiction writer, the little everything I have to consume must be homosexual or else I'll perish. In the Batman movie, there were no other, like, cute boys Bruce Wayne's age to, like, that I would bone, that I want to see bone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, there's probably some background characters, but...
Like, not even. There was that officer who was, like, kind of into him at the end. But, like, I just, like, if we're not going to get the Joker... I mean, I know it's never going to happen, but, like, personally in my brain, I want Batman to have a gay love interest. And it's, like, Edward Nashton is literally the only other, like, male character his age. Because it's, like, setting him up with the Penguin that just is weird and icky. And, like, Carmine Falcone, like, no, these guys are too old. I don't ship them. I just want someone to gay ship Bruce Wayne with. And there was nobody in this movie.
I mean, I'm asking you this question because you're far more knowledgeable about Batman than I am, but has there ever been a character in the Batman universe, be it comics or cartoons or something that, assuming Batman was bisexual or pansexual or gay, is there somebody who he would potentially have a chance with? Like, is there like a character who you could see him actually pursuing?
So people would say people who have played the Telltale Batman games could see a very intimate possible relationship going that way with the Joker in the Telltale series and like Bruce. He's known as, I think they call him Jack. He loses his memory, or he hasn't become the Joker yet or something, and it's something weird, and him and Bruce have like a very intimate relationship where like they're super close friends, and like there's the odd hint maybe of like sexual tension. Maybe it's just tension because like he's the Joker, and like throughout the whole game he's in Joker makeup, like he's got the pale skin and the green hair, and like so like it could just be the fact that like Bruce Wayne is friends with someone who is white and has green hair, but it could also be like, oh, he genuinely deeply cares for this man and like his well-being. So like there's that, and then
is there like
anybody
a hero
shipping
character though? Like,
yeah, anybody who ships Batman in a gay relationship is with Superman.
Oh, I see. Just somebody else in the DC universe.
Well, I mean, they do got a good dynamic though. Mm-hmm. Like, this is where the fan fiction seeps in. But I mean, like, tall, brooding, only does shit in the dark, and then you literally have like the White Knight who is Superman. Like, they're a perfect fucking like yin and yang to each other.
I'd hate to see it though, because I find Superman so absolutely boring. He's like, I just don't like him as a superhero at all. I'd rather see it with somebody like, I don't know. The first thing that's coming to mind are Marvel characters, so I'm not too keen on my DC.
I mean, also, and this is fucked up, but like, people ship Bruce Wayne with Dick Grayson, even though like that's his adopted son.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, there's like a huge disconnect in the fandom about that.
Yeah, I don't think that's more of like can it happen? Because like if he's his adopted son, I mean like there's not incest if it's not blood related, right? I mean, come on. But like, I mean, yeah, but he's his son.
But also like, but that's his father figure.
Yeah.
Like,
we'll leave that to
I've said this before, and I'm gonna say it again though. But like, I just want to see Bruce's kids in a movie verse. I'm not talking no CW fucking Legends of Titan shit. I want to see Dick Grayson on the big screen. I want to see Jason Todd. I want to see Timothy Drake. At least give me the three main boys, and then tease me Damian. But like Batman is so much more interesting when you include the other characters of the Bat family.
I was gonna say the Bat family as a whole.
Even like Barbara Gordon as like Oracle, or the first Batgirl, Stephanie Brown, but then Cassandra Cain. I think Winston Duke is another character who's like just like related to the Bat family, or even like because in Batman the Animated Series, he's friends with other like DC heroes, and they're done in a way that like fits the Batman universe. Like there's Zatanna, the magical. You'd probably like her outfit. It's like,
oh, I know her. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I know her. I know her intimately.
I know her very
spread out on page 54. No, but like, that would be cool to see in a like Batman movie, like a character like Zatanna.
Mm-hmm. The thing is, as much as I completely agree with you, and I would love to see that on screen, it's so difficult to do with like one movie, you know, like unless DC somehow scoops themselves off their asses and starts making better movies that are part of an anthology, like, and I mean, I could say it as much as anybody else, I'm sick of Marvel movies, but what they have done to bring all these characters together is a feat that has never before been seen in cinema. Yeah. And I don't think that can happen unless DC does something similar. But
they've just been dropping the ball relentlessly, over and over.
Their attempt at it was like 2 movies and a couple TV shows, and they're like, okay, here's your 4-hour-long Justice League movie. Go suck a dick.
But it seems like too that like the characters involved like don't even want to be there. Mm-hmm. Like Ben Affleck did what? He didn't even do a Batman. Did he do a Batman movie?
I don't think so.
Was there?
Was
a
he?
Batfleck movie.
He wasn't Batman
There's like
versus Superman, was he?
yes, he was, but I think that's all he did.
Yeah. I didn't even see that one.
I don't think I did. If I did, I was not paying attention. The only thing that like DCU has going in terms of movies is fucking Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. Don't even get me started.
Oh, she's great.
And not even like great as in like, oh yeah, she's a total hot bombshell. No, like she's so in love with the character.
Yeah, that's not.
And it's yeah.
And
it's so nice to see.
Yeah, she just does such a good job at like embodying that character and seeing what. How do I put this? Seeing what, like, not what happened, because she was still a great Harley Quinn, I think, in Suicide Squad. But
oh yeah,
what they did with the character, making her like, I don't know, some like fucking porn star throughout the entire movie, it's a really upsetting thing to see. And
yeah.
I haven't seen the newest Suicide Squad, the James Gunn.
Oh, you got to see it. It's a total 180.
Yeah, but I've seen.
I mean, I liked the first Suicide Squad, but like I also very much liked the second, like the I don't want to say remake, the reboot. And it's very good.
Well, I am eager to see it.
And then, have you seen Birds of Prey, Harley Quinn?
No, I haven't seen that either. No.
See, you should watch them in order. Like, since you've seen Suicide Squad, watch Harley Quinn and then watch The Suicide Squad.
Okay. The problem with me is that I think the same with many people is that I'm just so burnt out with superhero movies. I see a trailer for one and I'm like,
yeah.
Eh.
But hey, what? Like I'm telling you, Harley Quinn, not at all a superhero movie.
No.
It's more like. I want to put it almost in the same vein as, like, I kind of want to say Charlie's Angels.
Okay.
Not nearly as, like, camp, but it's definitely, like, silly, but also it is very well done. It's not, like, obviously no one has superpowers. It's not a superhero movie. It's fun. It's such a good movie. God, I'm gonna watch it after this. After we finish. After we wrap.
Have they introduced Poison Ivy into that universe
no.
yet?
No, they have not. I'm kind of hoping that's going to be the new villain in the Batman, like the sequel to the movie we just got. I hope we keep Robert Pattinson as Batman. That's the thing too with these DC heroes. It feels like none of them are sticking on for their roles. Right, because like Batfleck's gone, Henry Cavill as Superman is gone.
I think he's gonna stick with it. I mean, it would be insane if it wasn't like renewed for a sequel, right?
Yeah, yeah, and like the Batman movie did so good, so
it did extremely well, and it was very good.
I'm still on the hype train of it, of like how good it did and like the doors that it opened and like the possible directions it can go. Like I can't remember the last time I was so excited for a sequel. And I know that's like big talk because people usually hate sequels.
Now,
but like,
did you see the deleted scene that surfaced with the Joker that was teased at the end of the movie?
Yeah, and I believe we talked about it here on the pod.
Oh, sorry if it's bringing it.
That's okay. I also forget.
I don't like him.
I feel like that's something. I don't either. Thank you. I'm taking your opinion and I'm putting it in my pocket.
It's not. I don't like it.
I know Isaiah is yelling at me right now, like he's screaming at me, disagreeing me, and getting pissed off at me, because I'm about to say this. But like, I know they can never recreate Mark Hamill as the Joker. But like
you said,
the Arkham series of video games, that's the Joker we need.
Your mic completely cut out, but I completely agree with you. Everything you just said.
I just said Mark Hamill is the Joker we need. Not in person, but those mannerisms, characterization.
Mark Hamill is the perfect Joker. He has nailed it in everything he's been in, and he has done it. I don't know where this train of thought is going. He's very good.
He's done it like pretty much since the beginning of animated Batman. Mark Hamill has been the Joker since the beginning of like animated Batman.
Oh yeah.
And then up into the games up until now. But we will end it on that. Thank you, Mason, for coming on the pod today.
You're very welcome. So nice. It was awesome to be here. I'd be happy to do it.
I know we're having like audio difficulties right now, so we're kind of like, can you hear me? But like, I can't quite hear you. So yes, thank you for coming on the Mildly Ignorant podcast, and to our listeners, thank you for listening to the Mildly Ignorant podcast. We are back to our regularly scheduled episodes with Isaiah and I next week. This has been episode 31, and don't forget to send us a comment, your ideas, anything you want to see from us here on the show. And we are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Castbox, Overcast, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, Stitcher, Reason FM, Podcast Republic, and Podbay. Just look us up, Mildly Ignorant Podcast. Check out the Mildly Ignorant Podcast website, www.mildlyignorantpodcast.com, I think is our website. I can't remember. And I love you.
Cue outro music.